Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Fruit Battlegrounds and ranking all the fruits from SS to D tier. We're talking everything from the god tier fruits that dominate the game to the ones you should toss the second you can afford something better. Whether you're just starting out or you're deep into the grind, this tier list is going to help you figure out which fruits are worth your gems and which ones are just, well, trash. Now, the SS tier, these are the absolute beasts. There aren't too many in this category, but trust me, if you get one, you're golden. Moving down, we've got the S and A tiers. These fruits are strong and can definitely hold their own against the big boys. But then, we've got the B, C, and D tiers. Bs are your solid, average fruits, but C and D, let's just say if you're stuck with them, get rid of them as soon as you can. Stick around and we'll break it all down for you in a fun, easy to follow way. Let's get into it. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking fruits in Fruit Battlegrounds. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The fruits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, rubber, barrier, chop, and sand. So, let's talk about some of the less impressive fruits in Fruit Battlegrounds, starting with rubber. I know, rubber is Luffy's iconic devil fruit from One Piece. You'd think it would be epic, right? Well, not really. In this game, it's honestly a letdown. You've got the classic moves like bazooka and pistol, but they feel like watered down versions of what you see in the anime. They just don't pack the punch you'd expect. The one cool thing about rubber is gear 2, but here's the catch. It burns through your stamina so fast that you barely get to enjoy it before you're stuck catching your breath. Now, let's move on to barrier, chop, and sand. 3 of the common fruits, and trust me, they definitely feel common. Barrier, it's okay-ish, but the damage output is meh. And chop, it's got some fun factor. I mean, flying around in pieces like Buggy looks pretty cool. But that novelty wears off when you realize most of the moves are blockable or leave you hanging with end lag. You hit, you wait, and, well, you're wide open for a counter. Sand doesn't fare much better either. It's just subpar all around. Sure, the anime makes it look flashy with all the desert storms and devastating attacks, but in the game, it's more like a light breeze than a sandstorm. All of these fruits have their moments, but when you're up against someone rocking one of the better fruits, you're gonna have a hard time keeping up. The fruits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, bomb, smoke, and gas. Alright, let's talk about some of the C tier fruits in Fruit Battlegrounds and why they're, well, kinda underwhelming. First up, we've got bomb. Now, you'd think a fruit that lets you create explosions would be super cool, right? Wrong. Sure, it's all about area of effect, but the damage? Pretty average. Plus, all 4 of its moves need to be charged, which means you're standing there like a sitting duck while enemies just line up to smack you. You'll feel more like a ticking time bomb and not in a good way. Then there's smoke. You'd expect something with a name like that to at least be sneaky or disruptive. Nope. Every time you try to pull off a move, you end up stunning yourself instead of your enemies. Talk about backfiring. I mean, who needs enemies when you're already your own worst nightmare? It's honestly more like a smoke break where you just sit there doing nothing while your opponents take you out. And we can't forget gas. Yes, it packs a punch in terms of damage, but the stamina drain is absolutely insane. It's like you're out of breath after one move. On top of that, it's slow, like really slow. So if you're thinking of bringing this fruit into PvP, just don't. You'll end up chasing your enemies around the map while they casually walk away. Gas is basically the equivalent of trying to race a turtle in quicksand. Just don't do it. The fruits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, darkness, gravity, phoenix, TS rubber, pore, string, light, falcon, and ice. Alright, let's talk about the fruits in Fruit Battlegrounds that landed in B tier. Now, you might be wondering why some of these fruits, especially the legendary ones, are here. I mean, we're talking about fruits that you'd expect to be dominating, right? But here's the deal. Fruits like darkness, while still pretty good, have some serious downsides. Yeah, it can suppress a lot of other fruits, but the fact that 4 of its 6 moves are blockable, ouch. And even Kuroso, which is an otherwise OP move, suffers from the same problem. It's blockable too. So while darkness could have been A tier material, those little setbacks keep it down here in B. Now, I gotta admit, when I was making this list, I was shocked at how many legendary fruits ended up here in B tier. It's wild. I mean, TS Rubber, Gravity, and Phoenix, legendary fruits like these should be top tier, right? But nope, thanks to either nerfs or other fruits getting some wild buffs, they've fallen behind. Don't get me wrong, they're not terrible, but they're definitely not what they used to be. With their longer cooldowns, easier dodges, and lower damage output, they've become more of a grind tool, rather than something you'd want to take into battle seriously. But it's not all bad news in B tier. There are a couple of epic fruits here that really punch above their weight. Paw and String are fantastic all-rounders. They've got solid damage, good range, and can hold their own in basically any game mode. These fruits might not be S-tier superstars, but they're reliable and they get the job done. And then there's Light, one of the fastest fruits out there. It's a real speedster, and if it weren't for the fact that it struggles against airborne enemies, it'd easily be an A tier. I mean, who doesn't love zooming around the map, right? Speaking of underdogs, let's talk about Falcon. Now, I know what you're thinking. An uncommon fruit in B tier? Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are, but Falcon deserves its spot here. It's got great combo potential, its flight ability is fast, and most of its attacks have multiple hit points. Plus, it's super easy to get, so if you're just starting out, there's honestly no better fruit to kick things off with. Then we've got Ice, another beginner-friendly fruit that's easy to level up and deals pretty decent damage. It's not perfect though. Like Light, it's got a weakness against airborne enemies and its skill set is a bit limited. But if you're just getting into Fruit Battlegrounds and you want something solid to help you level up quickly, Ice is a good pick. Just don't expect it to carry you in those high-flying, late-game battles. So yeah, B tier is kinda the sweet spot for fruits that are decent but have a few noticeable flaws. You've got some underperforming legendaries, a few epic fruits that are holding their own, and even an uncommon fruit like Falcon sneaking into the mix. If you're looking to farm gems or just have fun without stressing too much about being top tier, B tier fruits are where it's at. The fruits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Magma, Dragon, Flame, Quake, and Magnet. Alright, let's dive right into some of the best A tier fruits in Fruit Battlegrounds. And trust me, these fruits pack a punch if you know how to use them right. Starting with Magma. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, Magma 2 is a thing now, right? Yup, but let's not sleep on the OG Magma. Sure, it's the only epic fruit with an awakened form, but even in its base form, it's got some serious potential. The damage output is wild. You've got that solid initial hit and the added burn damage that just keeps ticking away. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. Well, to you, not to your enemies. That said, it's not the best against speedy types, but once you level it up, you'll figure out the right moves. Now let's talk Dragon. This fruit is an absolute monster when it comes to boss farming and bounty hunting. I mean, the AoE is massive. You're going to be clearing the screen like it's nobody's business. And combo potential? Oh, it's there. Pair that with a learning curve that won't make your brain explode, and it's easy to see why beginners love it. Dragon just makes everything click. The only downside? PvP. Yeah, Dragon doesn't quite shine as much in player versus player combat, but hold up, we've got Flame for that. Speaking of Flame, this fruit is just straight up fun. You're basically a firebending powerhouse, and it feels amazing. You get to control and become fire. What's cooler than that? Oh, and Flame comes with 6 moves. That's right, 6. And the best part? They're all spammable. If you like spamming attacks and watching your enemies burn while you sit back and admire your fiery work, Flame's your go-to. Plus, the damage over time effect is Chef's Kiss. Perfect for those PvP moments where you want to keep the pressure on. Let's not forget Quake. Okay, so it's not as OP as it is in the One Piece anime where Whitebeard is, wrecking entire oceans, but Quake still holds its own. You've got access to those iconic tsunamis, and while the damage output could be better, there's something satisfying about using Whitebeard's moves. You feel powerful. It's not game-breaking, but it's definitely fun to mess around with and pull off some devastating combos. And last but not least, we've got Magnet. Based on Eustace Kid's Devil Fruit, the Jiki Jiki no Mi, this one's all about generating magnetic forces and throwing around metal like you're in an action movie. The damage? Solid. The combos? Well, some moves are blockable, so chaining combos can be a little tricky, but when it works, it works. You just have to get in there, feel the flow, and don't expect to always land those killer combos. But when you do, oh boy, it's satisfying. So yeah, these A-tier fruits are no joke. Get out there, experiment, and watch the sparks, or in Flame's case, the flames, fly. The fruits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ice V2, Magma V2, Ope, Lightning, Leopard, and Dough. Alright, let's dive into the S tier fruits in Fruit Battlegrounds. Just like the coveted SS tier, the S tier is dominated by those mythical fruits, but we've got some exciting new entries to talk about too. If you're tired of waiting for your ice fruit to awaken, you should definitely try your luck with Ice V2. This awakened version really unleashes the true potential of ice abilities. Seriously, every move freezes enemies and sets up some epic combos. It may have a smaller moveset, but trust me, its ease of use and solid performance across all game modes make it a top contender in the S tier. Now, speaking of powerful awakenings, we can't forget about Magma V2. This fruit might look similar to Ice V2, but it's got its own flair. Also rocking a 5-skill moveset, Magma V2 performs phenomenally in both bounty hunting and PvP battles. Sure, its moveset might seem a bit limited, but don't underestimate it. These new legendary fruits are giving some mythical ones a run for their money. But hold on, we've got to talk about Ope. This fruit might just take the crown for the strongest in the S tier. The only reason it doesn't make the jump to SS tier is its limited range and the fact that some moves rely on the rune mechanic. Still, when it comes to sheer power, Ope is a force to be reckoned with. Now let's chat about Lightning, which is another fan favorite. With a whopping 7 skills, Lightning delivers some insane stuns that make chaining combos a breeze. The catch? It does drain your stamina like crazy. But hey, if you manage your stamina well, you can unleash some serious damage. That's what makes it so thrilling to use. And let's not forget Leopard. This fruit transforms players into a leopard and boasts 4 base skills and 5 transform skills. Most of its moves are unblockable, which means you can dish out some serious damage no matter what mode you're playing in. It's definitely one of the most well-balanced fruits in the game right now. Last but not least, we have Dough. Now, I know it might not sound as flashy as some others, but let me tell you, it's surprisingly effective. With the ability to create and manipulate Dough, it's super easy to set up combos and rack up high damage output. Sometimes it's the simpler fruits that end up being the most powerful. So, there you have it, the S tier fruits that are making waves in Fruit Battlegrounds. Which one's your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. The fruits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Nika, Dragon V2, and Venom. Now let's dive into the creme de la creme of Fruit Battlegrounds, the S+ tier fruits. It's no secret that the top of the tier list is dominated by those elusive mythical fruits. If you manage to snag one of these bad boys, hold onto it tight. They pack a punch and shine in every game mode. First up, we have Nika, also known as the Sun God. This fruit is an absolute powerhouse. Not only does it deal insane damage, but it also has fantastic AoE capabilities. Imagine scorching your enemies while they're stuck in place from a stun. Oh, and did I mention that Nika can even break enemy shields? If you want to dominate the battlefield, this is the fruit to have in your arsenal. Now, let's talk about Dragon V2. Some might say it's the strongest fruit out there, and while a recent nerf brought it back down to earth a bit, it's still a fierce contender. With its quick recharge and awesome weapon combos, Dragon V2 is all about that relentless pressure. In the right hands, this fruit can turn the tide of battle and leave Nika users gasping for breath. And speaking of iconic fruits, we can't forget the Venom fruit. Fans of One Piece remember it wreaking havoc during the Marineford arc, and it's just as fearsome in Fruit Battlegrounds. With solid damage output, block-shattering moves, and a decent stun, Venom keeps opponents on their toes. It's like having a little slice of chaos right in your pocket. So, if you find yourself lucky enough to wield one of these S+ tier fruits, you're in for an exhilarating ride. Whether you're melting enemies with Nika, spamming attacks with Dragon V2, or leaving a trail of destruction with Venom, you're set to become a legend in the game. Which fruit are you most excited to try? Let me know in the comments. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.